I am Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots. The greatest sci-fi show on Earth is about to begin.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
How awesome is this?
I'm Jesse Ventura. That's Carl Weathers.
Gentlemen, how are you enjoying yourselves in Manchester?
Do what now?
How are you enjoying yourself? I'm sorry, I have to translate myself for you, don't I?
I'm doing great. Fighting through the jet lag of, night and day get changed around on you, and it takes you a little adjustment on that. And I don't think you fully adjust, and then you'll be on a plane back and have to do it again when you get back home. So it really becomes a whirlwind of about 2 weeks where you go back. And I don't know if I can say this on behalf of Carl too, it doesn't get any easier the older you get. No, it doesn't get any older. And since I'm 20 years younger than Jesse, I can tell you, you can do it.
So ladies and gentlemen, if you were here yesterday, we had an absolutely outstanding panel with these two yesterday. So what I'm going to do, gentlemen, if it's okay, talk us through some of the experiences that you had on one of the best sci-fi films of all time ever in Predator, because the tales they told us yesterday were amazing. Can you do it again for us?
Well, good stories on Predator. Well, the good thing about Predator was it was a small cast, which you had about, 10 major characters, I guess, if you add them up through the whole film, basically, and you're together for 10 weeks. We shot it in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So what really happens, I think, in a shoot like that is you become somewhat of a family, because you're down there, you're dependent upon each other, you're on location, and you've only got each other all to hang out with. So it really becomes more than just working on the set. You're really together pretty much most waking moments. And that's when you really get to know people and things like that. And, relationships go through the years. And I can come here right now and sit with Carl, and it's almost like we're back, and we're back in that time again, that this time has stood still, and here we are. But the only difference is we're not quite as agile, and I hope the Predator is slowed down too, so.
Yeah. We both hope the Predator is slowed down.
And just to set the record straight, you've got no chewing tobacco on you, have you? Because I don't want any reenacts.
Oh, you want the chewing tobacco story? Okay.
I don't want it to happen on stage.
You all, how many seen Predator? Everybody? Okay. You all seen the scene where, of course, I stand with pride for the rest of my life, being able to tell the world I am the only living person to spit on Apollo Creed's feet, and he didn't do a damn thing about it. So, that puts you up in a level beyond. But anyway, it was a neat way they had to shoot it, because you're inside a helicopter, and so you've got all the cameras, so we had to shoot it in 2 halves. They'd shoot my half, which was the spitting, and then we'd clear out, they'd reverse angle it, and then they'd shoot Carl's half of receiving the spit. And so Joel Silver, the executive producer, and I got together that morning to try to figure out how could we make this as dynamic as we could, this scene. And so I had to start at dawn chewing tobacco, masses of it, spitting into a cup, because we were going to get shot separate. So when I spit, that would be great, but when I'm not there, they had to have it in a cup to where they could then throw it on Carl's shoe and get that angle of it splashing on his shoe. So all morning I'm chewing tobacco, spitting in the cup, and I get it about that full. And then we decided, we got to add some texture to this. So we went and got 2 egg whites. We broke the egg whites and we put the egg whites in with the spit.
and all the tobacco juice. We stirred that up, and we got the job done. I did the shot where a big mouthful of tobacco, and I spit it like I'm throwing up almost. And then we clear out, they bring Carl in, and when Carl's all set and gives me they slop this on his feet, of course, and he leans forward and says, "That's a real nasty habit you got there."
Brilliantly told.
So that's just how it kind of goes, so you understand the behind the scenes of filmmaking. Like it looked like Carl and I are face to face through this whole scene, when the reality was, I did it, I'm gone, Carl comes in, he does it, and I guess that's what makes you an actor, the ability to do the scene without the other person there. You know, you have the ability to be able to do it without the other person there. So that was the funny one. We'll let Carl tell one.
Go on, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, because what's really interesting when you were saying it yesterday is the fact that Carl has a brilliant training background. You played football and you obviously were boxing with him, Rocky. And Jesse has a Navy background, so military trained and then physically trained. So what was it like for the two of you? Were you secretly telling people how to hold the weapons and no, it's not done like that? And were you saying you need to pump this way?
Well, we had a really wonderful guy who put us through our paces, who was military, and he was our advisor. And so since most of us had not been in military, the only guy who was the real deal was Jesse. And we were out there, I think, for about a week prior to starting to shoot, and just a bunch of goofy guys grab-assing and trying to figure out which end of the gun was supposed to point out and which end of the gun was supposed to point or not point out. And, you know, after about a week, I think we just kind of maybe frustrated Gary so much, Gary Goldman, who was our advisor, that it was like, oh, screw it, just go on, do what you're gonna do. Truth is, he really taught us well, and at the end of the movie, you know, when you look at it, I don't think anybody looks at it and says, those guys don't know what they're doing. We looked like serious badasses, you know, like we knew what we were doing.
We all agree with that, right?
Yeah, the movie works. The movie works.
And I'll just add that what we did, we spent a week with the actors, and Gary, of course, deferred to me to help also. And he would always put me on the position at that time, which is referred to in military as rear security, to where I'm the last in the patrol. And that way, when I'm walking last, I'm able to watch the other actors and then be able to critique them when they're done for things. And I'm very proud of the fact that now, you gotta remember, we're not doing a documentary. So I have to learn too that they're looking for camera angles and things rather than necessarily authenticity. And so I had to learn that also, but I'm very proud of the fact that many of my former Navy SEAL teammates and guys I've met have all been unanimous in saying that the patrolling in Predator is the best patrolling they've ever seen done by Hollywood in a movie set. And I took personal pride in that these guys, being the actors and as good as they are, could comprehend and be able to achieve in 1 week that it takes a normal military guy maybe weeks and months to learn. They got it within acceptability, I'll say, within a week, and they did a damn good job. I'll put it this way, I'd have gone, at the end of the week, I'd have gone out patrolling with them for real.
As long as we were patrolling for biscuits and a loaf of bread, maybe, but against real bad people, I don't know. I don't know about that.
They did well. They did very good.
There's lots of you here, so does anybody have any questions? The lovely Tylo has the microphone, ladies and gentlemen. Cheer for Tylo.
And I think I speak on behalf of Carl. We'll apologize first because we need an interpreter sometimes because you all don't speak English like we do. You know, and I guess yours is the right way, but you got to put up with us the wrong way.
Right, I'd just like to ask, during the filming, there was 3 amazing athletes and figures and all the actors. Who was in the best shape?
What did he say?
Who? It was amazing acting. That's Scouse, by the way. So I'm teaching them different dialects and accents.
Yeah, my Scouse is really good. Can't
Come on,
you
do
tell?
it, do it.
I just did. Didn't you understand me? Yeah.
I did, actually. It was quite exciting. I must be fluent. Who was in the best shape?
Well, of course I was. Of course. Look, by the end of this movie, everybody was in incredible shape. And Jesse, you know why.
Oh, yeah. No, we were all in good shape. I mean, and there was the good thing, who was in the best shape, who knows? Who knows? Because when you're doing that, shape at doing what? Patrolling in the jungle, or shape at lifting weights, or running, or, you know, we all, when this film was over, were in great shape. In fact, most of us were in good shape before we even got there.
Yeah.
And because it's part of the role you're going to play. You're not going to show up and be fat and out of shape. You know, that won't work too well.
Not a good idea. Not on the Predator, because the Predator would come after you, and that'd be the end of you.
The great thing is that if you do a Schwarzenegger film, his gym comes with him. So they'll take it does. And they'll have a whole area at the hotel. Arnold, he's great. He'll pass out keys to whoever wants them, and you got access to all his workout equipment 24/7.
And we used it too.
Yes, I used to make sure if the set call was at, say, 7 a.m., I'd get down there 5 minutes before Arnold and his bodyguard Sven would show up, and I'd take the water and I'd soak myself. So I was drenched, and so I'd be doing something, and I'd be drenched in water and sweat. Arnold would come in at 5:30. Sven, we better get up sooner. Jesse the body's been training all night. So I did that just to bother Arnold a little bit, you know. And then we did go through another unique thing, Carl, we never mentioned. Arnold actually married Maria.
That's true.
While he had to fly back to Hyannisport, marry Maria and become his wife, and then came back to shooting, and she came with him then. So it was very fun then to meet Maria Shriver on the set, and I became friends with her through the years. But yeah, it was right at the time. We shot Predator right when Schwarzenegger had to fly off, and then that's where we all shined. You know, they got him out of there, and then the film got good.
Yeah, we got rid of the dead weight.
Yeah, we got rid of the dead weight.
Hi, Jesse. One of the things that keeps pro wrestlers sane when they're on the road is that they play ribs on each other, practical jokes. Was there any of that transpired and took it to the set of Predator?
What?
Sorry.
I love that. She doesn't even understand.
Did you say, was that being a wrestler, there's lots of jokes? Was that what you said?
Wrestlers often play ribs on each other.
Oh, wrestlers often play jokes on each other.
Yeah, on the road.
Did you play jokes on set?
Yes.
I'm so sorry, the sound goes that way for us, so I'm so sorry.
What was the question?
Wrestlers are known for playing jokes on each other. Did you play any jokes on anybody, or did anybody get a joke on him on set?
On doing Predator? Did I play any jokes on anyone? I don't think so, really. In the world of wrestling, I didn't do that either. Maybe a lot of the wrestlers did, but I was very much a loner. I kept to myself. I would go to my room, believe it or not, every night, and I think I can vouch at how good I was. I've been married to the same woman for 43 years. And so I have not been the typical wrestler. I kept to myself very much. I was a loner. And as far as on the set, the only thing I tried to do, which Carl and them wouldn't go along with, I couldn't get anybody to do it. Do you remember the skin bodies that were hanging from the tree? Remember them? Well, they got them, you know, they're made out of rubber. I wanted to take 2 or 3 of them, go into town to this most popular disco, dress those bodies in long coats, and walk them in and set them in the corner, and then kind of move away and go to the other side of the room and watch and see what would happen. Carl and those guys just weren't up for it.
I know nothing. I know nothing about playing jokes on the set. I know nothing about these three dummies. Nothing at all. What happens on the set stays on the set, okay? I'm sorry. No, well, you know, the only person really who was really about as goofy as they come was Arnold. Oh yeah, I mean, he's brain dead. He actually is. You wouldn't believe it, but he's actually brain dead. But a lot of fun to be around on the set. We had a great time. And of course, you know, as Jesse said, I mean, it was a very small cast. And so the core group was about 7 of us, and 7 guys just scratching and walking around and sweating and doing what we do, you know? It was a great time. What else can I say?
And they do it very, very well. And as a woman, and I'm sure that all the other women in the audience, and maybe some of the men can agree, it was jolly nice to look at times as well. So not that I'm just conforming to a stereotype of a woman who pervs at bodies. Tyler, are there any more questions? Anybody got any questions? Oh, straight up. Over there, the chap standing up. Oh, sorry. We'll come back to you in a second, okay? You've not seen it, have you?
Thank you.
Oh,
I just shared this with Carl as well when he was giving me his autograph. A lot of people in lots of parts of the world and villages, they all know your characters really well.
Sorry, can you put the mic a bit closer? We can't hear you, sorry.
I just wanted to share with both of you gentlemen that Predator movie means a lot to many people in many faraway places as well, not just the US and the UK. A lot of people in my village know both your characters really well, and they really like the movies that you've all been in. But I have a question. You guys talked about your on-set dynamics for the spitting scene. Can you talk me through the scene where Jesse's lying down with a hole in his chest, and you and Arnie are talking about him? Is that what happened in that scene? I mean, there's got to be something.
The scene where I die? Well,
to put it bluntly, yeah.
well, the interesting thing about that scene was I had to take that weapon from the results of it from the Predator, and it hit me in the back and of course blew my entire chest out. And that got to be trying because every day during the filming of those scenes, it would take roughly about 2 hours to put that false chest on me. See what it is? It's foam. You get an additional chest made out of foam rubber, and they have to match it to your body through taking a mold of your body, which I had to do in Los Angeles before we even went down there to get the mold of my body. And they put this apparatus on you, and of course the ribs have been sprung open, and when you're looking, you can't tell that it's an additional chest on you, because they do, and it takes 2 hours to put it on. Well, once you've got it on, you got to wear it the whole day. So I'm walking around the set the whole day with this exposed chest of gory, you know, well, you saw it on screen. It looked horrifying. And all these tough guys that I'm there with, right, won't eat lunch with me. I'm by myself, sitting in the corner, because they didn't want to sit there and try to eat lunch looking at me. So it was putting that piece of apparatus on took like 2 hours, and you had to wear it the whole day, and then taking it off wasn't fun either because they use this adhesive on you, and after 2 or 3 days of that, your skin's pretty irritated, you know. So you know, all the stuff of filmmaking is necessarily easy. No, it isn't. No, it is not. You earn your money when you're there, and you work. It was nothing, right? 12-hour days, sun up to sundown times money, you know, every day but Sunday. Sunday's the only day we had off down there. So, anyway, I hope that answered the question. You can ask Carl. Carl, what did I look like when I had that on?
Well, bad. I'll tell you that. Really bad. You know, the wonderful thing about what we do as far as I'm concerned, is that it doesn't matter so much after the fact anyway. When you're doing it, it can be really not very comfortable. But after the fact, if it works on screen and the audience loves it, then that's why you do it. You know, you're trying to convey something that's written on a page, and it's just type on a page until you get a body in there and you get a human being behind it and you get a performance. Then that's when it comes to life. And when you get an audience that watches it and buys into it, then you've hit a home run. So, you know, our job is real simple. Talking about movies after a while, quite honestly, is kind of boring. The doing it is the fun part, you know? So anybody who can go and visit a movie being made, I guarantee you after about 15 or 20 minutes, you're bored to tears because it takes so long to do such simple things. But when you watch it on screen, it's just magical. So, you know, seeing Jesse's chest sprung open and rib cage splayed and, you know, flies flying around him and all that kind of stuff was perfect. I loved it. I loved it.
We've got time for one more question, so this guy at the front.
Do any of you still talk to Arnold at all?
Oh, I don't talk to any of those guys. I don't know why I'm sitting here next to him. Do I talk to them? He says, do you guys talk to one another? I love that.
Carl and I haven't seen each other for decades.
It's been a long time.
But yet, when we did see each other, it was the typical, like, time never passed. You know, it looked like we were showing up for a press thing for Predator. Yes. You know, when we were doing the press junkets. Remember when we were out in New York? Doing the press junkets and for Predator and all that. And so really it's like, well, it would be like you. You go back to your high school reunion. Yeah, we're all older, but we haven't really changed, have we? Yeah.
We still tell the same stories about what happened at such and such a time, right?
Yeah, and so it's the same with us. You know, you do a film like this, you become somewhat of a family, and even though you all end up going off on your separate great careers, whatever it might be, you get back together. Like Carl and I'm only sad because Bill Duke couldn't make it. Yeah. You know, Bill is directing something in Atlanta right now, and that's his job now. He's a director. He's graduated up to that level. And I'd love to have seen Bill here. You know, it would have been like old home week. In fact, if Bill would have made it, we could have been an Oreo cookie.
I can't think of a better way to end the panel than an Oreo cookie image.